Hi, Minna Bryant at theoryandprofit.com and selfpublishingresults.com. And today is day 29. I'm gonna miss you guys when we stop the video challenge. Actually, though, that's not exactly true because we have lots of people who started the challenge and they got sidetracked by life, because we all know that happens, and they aren't at their 30-day mark yet. So many of them are going to push through and do 30 videos. So I'm going to keep my eye on you guys. I really am. I'm going to keep my eye. My eye is on you. Right? So today's video, actually, you have Bonnie Jean to thank for this, because she really pushed me in the comments of the last video where I started talking about foundations. She really pushed me to define this because, yeah, I so wanted to avoid this. Like, oh, yeah, okay, build a foundation, blah, blah, blah. Now go on about your business, right? But that's not fair because, well, it's not fair to you. And it's not fair to me because I am building my foundation. How will I know when I have this foundation built? And what needs to go into a foundation? So I really stopped and thought about this. I mean, I went to bed thinking about this last night. And when I got up this morning, I had an answer. Now, this is an answer, but it's really a theory, okay? Because like I said in that last video, I am only now beginning to build my own foundation. So this may change. Let's just put it like that. This may change. This idea, this concept may change, okay? So let's talk foundations. Here's the deal. There's three sides that I have figured out to a foundation, right? There's the internal stuff. That's the stuff that belongs to you. What do you like to do? What are your talents? What are your time frames? What do you like to do? What do you think you want to do? What are your dreams? What are your goals? All of that starts your foundation, because without that, you're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall, and you can do that. I'm not saying that you can't do that, but you're not really going to build a solid foundation just by continuing to do that. You know, you're not gonna play a tennis game just by throwing a ball against a wall. You need some other stuff. So you're not gonna get into the game until you get the foundation in place. And you can find the foundation. You can find those things by throwing stuff against the wall. So you can find out what your skills are, what you enjoy doing, and what actually works for you, because something that works for someone else may not work for you. Like, I know that I write well. I do. I'm actually not ashamed to say that at all, right? But I am selfish with my writing. I tried to do the PLR store. Wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening. I tried to be a ghostwriter. Wasn't happening. I could not find my way to write for someone else. It just did not work for me. But I do, and it could have been something about not really enjoying the process of sitting down to write, but even that, I've grown to like that process a little bit more, but still. So anyway, it's going to be different for every single person, but that is the first part, the internal part. You've got to know about yourself. You've got to know what you like, what you don't like, what you're good at, what you're not good at. And it can't be just the things that you think you're good at or think you're not good at. You need to ask some other people. Ask other people what it is they see you do all the time that just looks so easy for you that they wish they could do. Right? Ask other people in your family, ask your friends, ask your church members, ask anyone that you feel comfortable talking to. And when they ask why, because 9 times out of 10 they will, and then they'll be hesitant to give you this information. So what you want to do is ask them in a way that says, if you could do something that you see me doing a lot that looks easy for me, what would it be? Right? Because that way it takes them into themselves and they're not just telling you what they want what they think you want to hear. Because that's a big issue. People will tell you what they think you want to hear, but they won't really get down to the truth of the matter. So if you ask them in a way where it applies to them, you'll find out. Okay, so that's the first thing, internal. Now, here's the second thing, and this is where I am right now in building my foundation. It's the external stuff. Now, in the big grand scheme of things, this is about people. I mean, this is about other people, because other people are the people who purchase. I mean, I've never seen a robot purchase anything, right? I don't know of any traffic that purchases anything. People purchase, people order, people want, people need, people desire. So it's all about people. And yet there are so many subtle nuances in here, because now you're tying in to people's needs and their wants and their desires and what they have available to use to fulfill those needs, wants, and desires. So that's the external part. And what's external for you is internal for them. Okay, I'm not going to go into that whole esoteric kind of thing, but so that's the external part. It's other people, right? And then the final part is the connecting and the intersection of the things that you found. So I can only use myself as an example, because that's the best example to use, because I know the information is 100% accurate and is not, well, it's probably still filtered through some optimism lenses, but you know, there's nothing being left out when I'm talking about myself, right? So in my new endeavor in self-publishingresults.com, I am targeting, right? I am looking for people who create a lot of content and who really don't have a plan in place to either use that content to its fullest, or they are so busy and so enjoying the creation of that content that they don't want to stop to take the time to take that content to the next level. So whether that next level is setting up ebooks for sale, you know, directly from their own website and through places like ClickBank or RapBank or Zaxxa, I think I'm saying that right. They don't want to do that, right? So that they can sell that product and help other people and gather all that knowledge into one place and have it organized and laid out. They don't want to take the time from creating the content that they're creating to sit down and do that process. And there's lots of people who are like that. I mean, I know bloggers that blog and blog and blog and blog, and they don't take that information and turn it into a format for people who don't read blogs. Because you know what? There's millions of people still in the world who don't read blogs. And I know, I mean, I can't believe that at all. It's like, but everybody I know reads blogs. But I have to tell you, one of the people who is my best friend 2 years ago. Now I've been blogging, I say that with a laugh, but I've had a blog online and I've used blogging software since 2004. Right? And this friend says to me, you know, I'd really like to have a place where I can like share my thoughts and my ideas and some of my writings. Do I need a website for that? And I gotta look at her like, honey, you just need a blog. And she's like, a what? A blog? Yeah, so anyway, external, right? We were talking about the external. No, I'm sorry. We weren't talking about the external. We were talking about the connection and the interaction. So that's where the connection and interaction comes in. That's where, in this case, we're building businesses and we're using the internet and the connectivity of the internet to build that business. We need tools. You know, we have to have things like blogs. We have to have email and email management systems and you know, I mean, I could get really technical, things like PHP and HTML and blah 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 and you know, all those letters, right? But without those tools, there is no foundation. it's difficult to connect with people. And we can still use some of the old school tools. I mean, we can write letters and, to the newspaper and get in the newspaper editorial section, or create ads for magazines, or become an author, have a byline in a magazine. We can still do all those things offline, but again, that's still part of technology. I mean, it's still a part of the way that you're connecting your internal skills, talents, desires, and actions with the external people who need those skills, talents, desires, and actions, right? So that's the foundation. That is how all three of those come together and lay a solid foundation, under a business that you want to start, whatever that business is. And it doesn't necessarily have to be one single business. And I'll use Tiffany Dow as this example. She started off, ghostwriting, right? She still writes. She still does ghostwriting, but that's where she started off. That's what she offered. And then she realized, I want to do more. So what did she do? She launched off of that ghostwriting foundation, right? So what were the three parts of that foundation? For her, and please, Tiffany, if this is incorrect, just correct me in the comments or email me or whatever, I'm open to being corrected if this is incorrect, right? So the technology, so the edge or whatever that she used, the thing to connect and interact with people that she used, was freelance sites like Elance and Odesk and freelancer.com, even though I don't think it was called that way back when she was doing this, right? So she used those sites to build her business. Her internal motivations were her family. She had a son that she needed to be at home with, so she needed to find a way to replace the income that she had coming in so she could stay at home with her son and help take care of him through his health crisis. And then finally, the other people need writing. Okay, so they wanted the skill that she was offering, three parts coming together, foundation, right? So that is what I'm working on building. That's what I think. That is my theory about foundations. And, we'll know soon enough if my theory is profitable or not. So that's it for me. And if you've got any comments or any thoughts, ideas, or whatever that you think about foundations and things that you found in building your foundation, leave them in the comments below. And I will see you in the next and final video.